There's an article today about the Golden State Warriors offense that attributed its success to the first training camp that Steve Kerr ran, and the Golden State Warriors going through a bunch of what they call kind of middle school or junior high drills, stationary passing drills. I think they mentioned throwing passes into a net, things of this nature, things that one would not expect NBA players to do, and that would be more in line with what we think younger players or developmental players might do at practice. The problem with this article and attributing the success of the Warriors offense to these drills is that when Derek Fisher was hired to coach the New York Knicks, the same article was written about his drills and the Knicks and so forth. And as we know, he didn't last through his second season despite doing the same type of drills that Kerr has done with the Warriors that has led to, the best record in NBA history. So again, I think this is an example of, our need to try to simplify the complex. So the Warriors' success this year is due to many, many, many different factors, some of which may be able to be described, and some we probably don't know what the factors are, or what really does contribute to success. How did all those players come together, and how did Draymond Green go from second round pick to being a top 10 player, and Curry's development and Thompson's development, and Kerr being a new coach. There's a lot of factors involved there, and some the coaches and the players might be able to point to or describe, but some probably are elusive, and that's why success in sports is so hard to replicate. But I think, again, we have this need to simplify complex things, and a winning professional basketball team is a very complex system. And so trying to simplify and point to one or two things is always going to be inaccurate, because you can always find counterexamples that do one or two things in the same way. So, many teams have tried to play small ball before. They just could not play defense as well as the Warriors when they went to a small lineup. So simply saying that small ball is the reason for the Warriors' success, again, to simplify the complex, is also inaccurate. It does contribute to their success, but you have to go beyond just simply pointing to small ball, because dozens of teams have tried to play small, and none have had the same type of success as the Warriors. Same thing. Well, they have Steph Curry. Well, there's been probably nobody that shoots quite as well as Curry, and certainly not with the same type of volume. But there have been great shooters before, and teams that have, shot a lot of three-pointers before. Cleveland is making more three-pointers in the playoffs than Golden State. Will they have the same success? We'll wait and see. So I think, again, just pointing to one team or one player and saying this drill or this offense or this set play or this thing works in this one example, is meaningless, because there's probably an example that somebody could point to and say, well, they did the same drill over here with not nearly the same type of success. So again, developing a successful team, whether youth team, professional team, is complex. There are numerous factors, and trying to reduce those factors down to one is impossible. So by all means, learn from the various teams, but just copying one or two things that you've read about one team is not going to, lead to the same type of success. There are hundreds of factors in play when developing a successful organization. Maybe these drills had a small effect, maybe they didn't. But it's probably the philosophy that Kerr was trying to get across to the players that had more of an effect than the actual drills that were done to develop the players' skills. So again, learn from the best, read about the best, try to replicate the best, but understand that there are many factors in play, and those on the outside rarely know, a tenth of what goes on within a successful organization. So simply trying to copy that 10th and expecting the same success, is impossible. We have to find our own ways with our own personnel, in our own situations, with our own constraints, to develop the same type of success and create our own system, within the complexities of our own situation.